Well, welcome back. This is the fifth of 6 videos looking at Chapter 9 of Wheeler's most excellent textbook, Security Risk Management. What we're going to do during this kind of short video is talk about writing audit responses. And so you can see over in the kind of left graphic there the normal pattern for an audit engagement. There's a scope of the audit and the start date is set. Once that's done, the auditors will request data. The institution being audited provides that data. They start meetings and looking at the actual controls, the data that's received. They'll select a sample, then try to qualify that data and start to draw initial conclusions. They'll build a draft report that just goes back to the organization that was audited. There's a discussion back and forth between the auditors and the organization. Revisions are made. The report is published. The organization writes a response back. The book suggests there are 3 possible responses. And then management has a formal written response back to the audit findings. And so while this is the classical or traditional approach to an audit, there are lots of problems with this. First of all, as you look at this, what standard is audit using to come in and do that report? Are they using NIST? Are they using internal documents? Are they using Corbett? Or are they using IDLE? Are they just making stuff up? And the reason I mention that is because I've seen all of those different approaches. I've had auditors come in that just sat down the night before and decided what their standards were going to be. And that's not particularly fair to the organization that's being audited. As you're going through this, there should be a precursor meeting, probably on an annual basis, that says what are the things that the organization wants to be audited on. If there is a true partnership between the two, there has to be that conversation where audit has some say over what they perceive are things to be audited, and the organization has some say over some things they think need to be audited. As you're looking at this, ideally, as that report is being written, the organization is implementing new controls, and audit is actually validating the effectiveness of those controls while they're still on the site. So, again, this looks like it's a kind of waterfall model, but there's a lot more interaction in the best engagements with audit. Ideally, again, you're building those controls, validating in them, and then when they come back a year later, they're just looking at the historical evidence that those controls were very effective. What you don't want to do is have an audit report, come up with an audit response that audit finds completely unsatisfactory, and take a year to figure that out. And then finally, understand that any auditor is going to have findings. No organization is perfect. There's always something. And so you should welcome auditors into your organization and work in partnership to get the maximum value out of their particular visit. All right. I mentioned this previously, but want to provide some commentary around this. The audit, there are 3 possible responses. Management agrees and concurs. You could have a response that's based on our business model. Management does not agree with the solution. And then finally, management believes the following factors were not accounted for during the assessment. Again, truthfully, candidly, use whatever modifier you want. Only option 1 is a viable response. If you're doing option 2 or 3, that means you didn't do the audit the right way. In the case of option 3, they didn't get the right facts, so you didn't even, the preliminary stages of the audit were poorly done. And then option 2, that means you didn't have enough dialogue between audit and the organization. There should be the ability to reach a agreed upon position between both organizations for moving forward. Option 1 really is the only viable response. In about 35 years of going through audit, I've only seen option 1, and that's because you've got to do your audits the right way. All right, well, very good. Guess what? That brings us to the end of 5th of 6 videos looking at Chapter 9 from Wheeler's most excellent textbook, Security Risk Management. What we're going to do during the next video is pick up and look at knowledge management as it applies to risk management. So keep on studying, keep on learning, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.